Today I'm going to show you how to use the Mini-VUMP to equalize your pedal board. Now the very first thing you should consider is that no matter how good of a guitarist you think you are, you're probably not going to get the exact same strum volume each time you hit a chord. It may be a little bit different. So what you want to do is record a clean signal of your guitar into your computer first, and then use that signal repeated to run through your chain. That way you ensure that you've got everything perfectly equalized and you're not relying on yourself to do a perfect strum every time. So what I have is a cable that I made up. It's just a 1/4 inch jack on one end going to a stereo 1/8 inch jack on the other end so that I can put it into my laptop. However, that wasn't quite enough. What I want to do is actually monitor the signal on a little volt ohm meter that I have here, which allows me to calibrate everything just right. So I'm going to add another Y into this cable, and like this, put my 1/4 inch jack on top, and now my meter can plug in right here, and this can plug into my guitar. So now I've got the guitar signal going to my meter, and it's also going to go into my laptop. Make sure to get the microphone input there. Now while I'm at it, just for the extra fun of it, I'm going to put this into the Mini-VUMP also. So I'm going to be monitoring signals in this thing constantly. Plug that into the guitar. Okay, so now I can see my guitar signals on the Mini-VUMP here. So if I just do an open strum here, I'm getting 5.5 decibels. That was a 7.5. There's a -7, -6, -6. So I'm somewhere in the -6 range. And I can also see it on my screen here. Yeah, it's 25 or 35 millivolts RMS AC. So there's about 35. So I don't really need this meter probably because I've got the Mini-VUMP. It's basically doing the same thing. But that signal now is coming in here, and we're going to open Audacity, which is my favorite thing. We'll record it in Audacity, copy it a bunch of times, and then we'll use that as the output signal to feed the whole chain here. Then we can equalize our pedals. Okay, so we're in Audacity. We go ahead and click the record button. All we need is a single strum. We're going to stop the recording and then go highlight the section that we created. We'll hit Control-C to copy it. Maybe about 3 seconds is right. And then we'll just paste it a couple times at the end of each section here. Let's do 5 times for this test. Now we can go ahead and play it back through the headphone jack output into the pedals. So now that we've got the signal recorded and copied in Audacity here, we can just play it back. So we've got to take this plug out of the microphone jack and put it into the headphone jack so that the signal now comes out of it. I'm going to go ahead and put this guitar away because the computer is now my guitar. Now I'm going to just kind of recombobulate these cables here. I'm going to turn off this volt ohm meter. Turns out we don't really need it. Time for a sanity check. I've got the signal of the laptop going straight into the input of the Mini-VUMP, and let's see what the signal level is. -4.5 there. And again, it plays over and over again. So -4.5, it should consistently say -4.5, and it does. There's another -4.5. So this is a little bit hotter than my actual strum, which was reading more like -6. So what I could do is turn down my laptop intensity and see how that does now. Now it's reading at -7 consistently. That's a little bit closer to -6. but I don't have a step in between where I can get it right at -6. Maybe you can on your equipment. So for this test, I'll just leave it at -4.5. So this is my source. I know it's consistently going to read that number. So I'm going to use this as my guitar now. Plug that in on the beginning of the chain. I'm going to put the Mini-VUMP now at the very end of the chain, right before my amplifier. Now we should be ready to equalize some gains here. So let me turn off everything and see if we still get -4.5 here. I'll turn on the amplifier. I wanted to demonstrate something that I discovered that was quite surprising. If I take my signal from the laptop and I plug it straight into my Mini-VUMP, which is connected to my amplifier, and I press the go button, it gives me -4.5 dB. Remember, it plays 5 times because we recorded it and copied it. Okay, I'll stop that. -4.5. If I go partway down my chain, if I go to my chain all the way to the end, and I run it, I get -12 dB. Somewhere in my chain, all my pedals are off, something is messed up. And so I went through and I was unplugging some wires like this one, and I said, well, let's see what this does. That's -4.5. So these guys are okay. And I came down and I got all the way to my overdrive, my double treble pedal here, which has some issue with it apparently. So I plug this in, I'm down to -12 dB, and this pedal is off. So something in here is causing the signal to drop significantly. So maybe I'll take this pedal out of the loop right now, maybe I'll have to fix it later. But this is an interesting demonstration of how you can diagnose problems with your pedals. So we're going to go ahead and bridge that one out of the loop. Put our source in the end of the chain here. We should have 4.5 dB. There we go. Okay. Now we can start turning pedals on. Now I'm down to -8.5 dB. So I might want to turn this up more to -4.5 or so to keep the intensity the same as it was. Fine tune this knob until you get about 4.5. There we go. Now we can do the tube screamer. Now the tube screamer I have now set up so that it will give me a 4 dB boost when it's on. And if I turn it off, it'll read -4.5. And when I turn it on, it reads 0 or -0.5. So it's about a 4 to 5 dB boost in this pedal. And maybe I want to keep it that way so that I get a little bit of extra punch when I hit my distortion. Then I can go through my vibrato pedal here, which isn't plugged in. There we go. Okay, that's reading -4, just a little bit brighter than it was. So we don't really need to change much on this. Let's try one more time. There we go. Now I've got this one equalized. I can turn it off and move to the next one, which needs some repair actually. This wompler sometimes doesn't work. We're going to make a video on how to repair this pedal. Okay, and then my analog delay pedal. It doesn't add any extra sound to it except for the reverb, which is quieter than the original signal. So that makes sense. It should be the same volume level. So you see in a pretty short time we've equalized the output on this pedal board except for the Tomb Screamer, which I actually want a little bit hotter than the other ones. It's sort of my boost pedal. We're going to fix this Wampler, and we now know there's a problem with that. And for some reason this one seems to be losing about 8 decibels of signal. I don't know why. So we're going to take a look at this also. So I decided to hook up double treble again directly to the Mini-VUMP with my signal from the laptop coming in. So with the pedal off, I'm at somewhere around -5, -5.5 dB down. And if I turn the pedal on, it's reading -4, or sorry, this is what was that? +1, because I'm running it extra hot right now. But it looks like it's working just fine. Before it was dropping down to -12. I think what happened was I have a bad cable actually that needs to be fixed. And so, well, look at that. We found another use for the Mini-VUMP. We can definitely use it to determine that the problem was the cable instead of the pedal. So I hope you enjoyed this video of seeing the utility of the Mini-VUMP. Go ahead and let me know if you'd like one. I can always make more.